Hey fellow Otakus, we are back today to discuss chapter 212 of Tokyo Revengers, and after the huge reveal that we saw last week and the massive cliffhanger that we left off on, I cannot wait to get into this week's chapter with you all. But before that, don't forget to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and click that notification bell. Now, on to the chapter. This week's chapter is called Battle of the Titans, and we lead straight off of where we finished last week, with a showdown between Brahman and Rokuhara Tandai. The chapter starts with us seeing the two gangs facing off with one another, and we see a disgruntled look on Draken, Uppbeat, and Takemichi's faces. The next page continues much the same, with us seeing South and Akashi facing off with one another, with Rokuhara Tandai and Brahman being represented. And we once more get the line 2 out of the 3 Tokyo deities have assembled. As the rain begins to fall harder, South calls out saying, "What brings you here, Brahman?" Akashi doesn't respond initially, noting the rain instead. He continues, "Shin used to tell me this, you sure are the rain bringer." Akashi finally then confronts South, saying, "I'm not here to deal with Rokuhara Tandai, the one I want to deal with is Hanagaki Takemichi. I've come to scout you," before we see a reserved looking Draken and a smirking South. Takemichi is amazed by this, saying, "Huh? Me?" Akashi responds saying, "Yeah, it's you who I want." Takemichi questions this, asking why, before all of a sudden somebody comes up from the Rokuhara side saying, "Oi oi oi, we can't allow you to do that." Turns out that this person is Kakucho, who we saw before in the Tenjiku arc. Kakucho has apparently joined Rokuhara Tandai. Takemichi is amazed to see Kakucho, before Akashi responds, "So their trump card is here, huh?" Akashi continues, "Why the hell are you under South? Got a change of heart after your king died?" Before Kakucho retorts in similar style saying, "Huh? I don't want to hear that coming from you. Did you forget about Sano Shinichiro?" We then get the return of more familiar faces. The first to be shown is Mochizuki Kanji, who calls out first initially to Akashi. We then see the former 9th Gen Black Dragon Captain Madara Shion, who calls out to Akashi due to their Black Dragon ties. Before we see 2 familiar back profiles who say, "Man, I don't care about this whole mess. I guess we have to get involved anyhow. A war is gonna start round here, so why not?" It turns out that these 2 familiar faces are in fact the Haitani twins. What we have here then is the former Tenjiku members who were the worst generation all assembled together under the Rokuhara Tandai banner. Takemichi is taken aback by this, thinking to himself, is a huge war really going to start here? But Akashi simply calmly laughs it off, noting how there are simply a bunch of bloodthirsty people around right now. Takemichi wonders how Akashi is able to still keep his composure. Akashi continues saying, "Being young sure is nice. Right, Senju?" All of a sudden we see somebody running out from the Brahman side. Whilst Takemichi is trying to contemplate on the name Senju, South clearly notes something coming towards him. He notes that an umbrella has been thrown towards his face, and as he moves out of the way to dodge, all of a sudden he is kicked in the head. As South falls to the ground, the attacker lands on his feet in front of a shocked Takemichi. He asks for the return of his umbrella, which Takemichi complies with. The mysterious assailant then removes his hood, saying, "I don't want to get wet," under the cover of his umbrella. We then see a nice wide panel shot of everyone surrounding the 2 central figures, which are now the hidden assailant under the umbrella and Takemichi. Kakucho recognises the assailant, noting that it is Brahman's boss, Kawaragi Senju. We then see an angered South appearing to get back to his feet, and a calm Akashi, before we then finally see the umbrella lift off, and we see the face of Kawaragi Senju as he simply calls out, "Let's do this." The tagline for this chapter is, "With an umbrella in his hand, one more of the 3 deities appears. The voltage of the situation increases." The high pace of this chapter is definitely something to be noted. Whilst we do get some more information on Brahman, and we do see the return of some familiar faces, the fact that we don't get any recognition beyond a simple calling of Shinichiro's name does feel like it's a little bit lacking. Akashi's relationship to Shinichiro and his current understanding of what would be going on with Mikey was one of the main things that I was looking forward to finding out a bit more in this chapter. And the fact that it was missing did seem to strike a nerve with me slightly. Although from an action front it's great to see more of a return of some of the familiar faces, and the reveal of the Brahman boss was definitely one to note. The fact of the matter is, whilst I'm looking forward to finding out more about the 3 leaders of the gangs over the course of the act, there was something far more interesting that was introduced at this time that I would much rather have explored. But I can understand the decision to continue down the route that he had been going, giving us small drips and drabs whilst introducing the key players for the arc. So I am not fully turned off from the chapter by any means, and I still think that this is a great chapter that continues with the pacing that we have been seeing over the last couple of weeks. The importance of Senju and South are clear to see for the act. They are people that are supposed to mirror Mikey and rival him. Their introduction should by no means be underestimated, and the fact that they are appearing to be antagonistic to each other from the very off over Takemichi is definitely an interesting point. Why is Akashi so determined to get Takemichi? Why is Senju willing to back him in this endeavour? Why are members of Rokuhara Tandai so against this decision? Yes, I can understand from Kakucho's perspective why he wouldn't want to have the fight against Takemichi again. However, South himself has already called out for Takemichi before. He was the next name that he wanted after Draken. There is clearly something that everybody expects from Takemichi in this arc. Perhaps they themselves believe Takemichi to be the key to defeating Mikey. These are all questions I hope that we start to get some answers to over the next few weeks. But really, all I want to see is more information on Akashi and Shinichiro. I feel like Shinichiro has become such a pivotal character to the series in all regards, and Akashi will be the person that knows him best of all. If their relationship mirrors Mikey's and Draken's even to a tenth of the degree, there is clearly much more to know about Shinichiro to find out here. And there we have my review of chapter 212 of Tokyo Revengers. As I said before, please leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, and don't forget to like the video, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell. Peace to all.